Hello everyone, welcome here to my channel, and today obviously we're going to be talking about F1 2018, because obviously it's no longer that far away. F1 2018 only now a few weeks, should I say. It's not too long until F1 2018 comes out, and therefore obviously this is all like a quick channel update to let you guys know what I will be doing in terms of career mode and what will be going on my channel. So obviously the first video you can probably expect to look out for will be the modern car versus classic car, of course. This will be the first type of video you can look out for. It will be the Belgium Grand Prix, of course. That will be, well, brought to you, and that will be the first video you can look out for. Of course, I don't know when I'm going to bring it out. I'll probably play the game first, get used to the game, of course, and then at some point when I feel comfortable with the game, within no later than a week of the Belgium Grand Prix, I'll be bringing out this new game play, of course, and then soon after that I'll be doing career mode live for you. So obviously, you know, in terms of the cars that are coming to F1 2018, we have quite amazing selection. I believe we have somewhere in the region of 20 classic cars. Because last year we had around, I think it was 13, and we've got 9 more new classic cars, so that'll be around 22 classic cars, of course, brought to the channel, which will leave us with so much more variety. This is the Belgium track here, as you can see. This ain't modern car versus classic car, this is just me driving around the circuit. Obviously, it will give you a good opportunity to look at this circuit anyway. But yeah, you know, obviously 20 classic cars. The return of the current classic cars in the game already. That's what I've already heard, that they'll be returning all the classic cars from this game, with addition of 9 new classic cars, or somewhere in that region. And yeah, you know, cannot wait for one. So that will broaden the horizon in terms of the amount of classic cars we have to show you on my channel, of course. Because obviously, if you're new to my channel, basically what I do every few weeks is basically bring out a episode called Modern Car versus Classic Car, and it's where basically I take usually it's one modern car and I put it up against one classical car, usually. Now, of course, when I say I take one classic car, sometimes it could be several modern cars and several classic cars, depending on the circuit. So for instance, Italy, we will see basically a Ferrari showdown, if that makes sense. We will see Ferrari take on Ferrari in Italy, all the Ferrari cars, and if there was any Italian drivers driving for any other team, we will include that car from that generation, of course, or from that driver. So, for instance, Toro Rosso, I believe, had an Italian driver, something Luizzi or something. Could have been Force India actually, but yeah, obviously we would use that Force India from that year and put up against a similar, you know, sort of thing. I'm pretty sure you get the point, basically. But for no special editions, we just use 2 random cars. One of them will be classic, the other will be modern, of course. And we're just looking, well, it's a bit of a more of an entertainment video. It's obviously to see a comparison, what's the difference between modern cars and the classic cars. And it's just really a good way to show off the game and the craft of the game, I think. Because obviously, I really do like driving some classic cars. And you know, obviously this one here is one of my favourites. Especially the way it handles. I really do love this classic car, the Williams from 1996. One of my favourite history of a car. But yeah, anyway, into then the cars. Just show you the classic cars that will be returning then for F1 2018. I for one cannot wait to see the new, not the new, these ones, because obviously I've already know what they look like. In a way, I can't wait to see also the ones that we've already got, because obviously the game obviously may be better, the gameplay may be better, so therefore we may have a better experience. But as you can see, these are the cars that will be returning. So we've got the 1988 McLaren MP4/4, the 1991 McLaren MP4/6, very good car, driven by Ayrton Senna, these two were, so yeah, very good. The 1992 Williams FW14B, I love this car, and one of my more favourite ones actually in the classic cars. The Ferrari, the 1995 Ferrari 412 T2. It's an alright car, not my favourite in the game. It's a bit shit. I'm not gonna lie there. I find this car, sorry for my language, but I do find it a bit shit. It doesn't handle the way I like it. It doesn't drive me that much. I find this one a very bad car. If I was the driver who drove this Ferrari, I would just look them in the eye and say, this is a piece of horse crap. Honestly, I would have. It's a very terrible car. In the game, anyway. I don't know what it's like in real life, of course. It could be completely different. I'm pretty sure it is completely different. Because in real life, obviously, things feel different. Whereas in the game, things feel, once again, are different. It feels more simulated rather than real life. So yeah, maybe the downforce levels on this car ain't right. Maybe that's what's wrong in the game. Now this car in the game is a beautiful car to drive, of course. I love it, one of my favourite cars. Certainly very good car in my opinion. And yeah, you know, I think this car is one of the better cars in the game. Next, the 1998 McLaren, the MP4/13. Yeah, you know, a very good car. Obviously, this car will be returning to F1 2018. Cannot wait to drive this one. Then we got the 2002 Ferrari. Very good car, actually. One of the quickest cars in Formula 1 history and one of the most successful cars in Formula 1 history. This one will be returning to 2018. The 2004 Ferrari, another great car. This one also will be returning to 2018. All these cars I'm showing you here are going to be returning to 2018. And of course, my favourite car of them all that will be returning to F1 2018 will be the Red Bull, the RB6. You know, because as a Sebastian Vettel fan, I really do love this Red Bull. It's my most, well, it ain't my most favourite Red Bull actually. My most favourite Red Bull car was the 2013 Red Bull. Beautiful Red Bull that was. The livery of that colour of that car was absolutely beautiful. It was just so outstanding, of course, that Red Bull. It won 13 Grand Prix that season, the RB9. Obviously, one of which should have been Mark Webber's Grand Prix victory. But yeah, oh well. Sebastian Vettel also set a new record in the RB9. He actually won 9 race wins in a row, and since then no one has beaten that record as of yet, as it stands. But yeah, the RB6, one of my favourite all-time cars. But yeah, so I'll just read the list of new classic cars then, so you know the new classic cars then. So just give me a minute. So yeah, obviously there's going to be some new classic cars in F1 2018, obviously with the old classic cars from 2017. So here are the new list of classic cars from tier like 1, if you want to call it. So we're going to have the 1970s and the early 80s classic cars. So we've got the 1972 Lotus 72D, the 1976 Ferrari, the 312 T2, the 1976 McLaren M23D, the 1978 Lotus, the 79. Then we've got this 1979 Ferrari, the 312 T4, and then we've got the 1982 McLaren MP4/1B. So yeah, obviously some very, very nice cars in there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 classic cars from the 80s and the 70s. And then in terms of the more modern classic cars, we've got the 2009 Braun BGP/001. Then we've got the 2003 Ferrari Williams FW25. So yeah, some nice classic cars in there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got around 20 classic cars from this F1 2018 game coming up. So yeah, that will be my first video on, I don't know what date it will be. The classic car versus modern car series will begin again. I presume it'll be before the Belgium Grand Prix, depending on how quickly I get to grips with the new game. But yeah, the classic car versus modern car series will be resuming service on most likely at some point around the 24th of August when the new F1 game comes out. Like I said, I don't know how quickly I'm going to get to grips with the new F1 game. I may just pick up the controller, turn on the TV, of course, insert the game, bang, kaboom, sort of thing. There we go. I'm off and running. You know, no issues at all. I may just get to grips with the game like that. But of course, you know, I don't know. I may not get to grips with the game as quickly as I would like. So, I really don't know. So I do my first modern car versus classic car episode on the new game. Do not be too critical of my driving, please, because of course, you know, it's a new game for me. It's like anything when it's new. It can take time to get to grips with these brand new things, and this is just one of them. Obviously, I don't use traction control in the current game, so I hope I won't have to use traction control in the new game. Of course, we just don't know yet though, because I may just find not using traction control impossible to do in the new game. I just don't know. Of course, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not claiming to be an expert on all these F1 games. I'm just saying at the end of the day, I just don't know how quickly I'll get to grips with the new game, and therefore we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm pretty sure, I'm confident it will be similar to F1 2017 and the handling and the physics. Apparently there is new physics handling system. However, to me it looks quite similar. If anything, maybe improved. So if it's improved, it theoretically should only make it a little bit easier. Because in this game, the thing I think a lot of people struggle with is sometimes you have the traction, and then at other times in other corners it just goes, you know, the traction just no longer exists. and you think, why is there no traction on that corner or that corner? And it's stupid. But yeah, obviously, in the new game, we'll have all the updated 2018 cars, of course. The only thing that has changed from F1 2017 and 2018, obviously, we will have the Halo device, which protects the drivers at the cockpit. The shark fin, obviously, if you can see where Lewis Hamilton's car number 44 symbol is, that has gone, or it's got a bit smaller. The T-wing at the back of the car, I'll just actually quickly show you what I mean, to be precise, so you know what I mean quickly, so there is no confusion, and therefore you will know basically what you can expect these new 2018 cars on the new 2018 game to look like. I'm pretty sure you would have seen images right now, but just in case you haven't, just in case you're new to Formula 1 in general, or just in case you're new to the channel, I'll just quickly give you a quick insight to what the new 2018 cars look like. Of course, I think, quite honestly, the 2018 cars, sorry, are very, very nice. I'm quite a big fan of them. So obviously, I'll just start from the front and work my way backwards. So obviously, the front wings are pretty much the same. All that can maybe say is they've got a bit more aerodynamics, maybe a bit more downforce, and that is practically it, of course. When it comes to here, of course, obviously they've just got updated stuff here, maybe a bit of a thinner front nose then as well. Right, but the big feature is really, the first big feature is the side pods. Now, as you can see, them side pods are rather small, you could say, actually. But in 2018, they have taken them a step smaller, and put it that way. It's literally like the cars have gone on a bit of a diet, you could say, because I think that's the best way to describe it. Then side pods have become smaller. Not the actual space, just the main side pod intake has become smaller. Ferrari was the real big one who made their side pods like as small as a tiny little cup that was like 2 inches wide or 1 inch wide. Literally, that's how big Ferrari side pods are. You'll see what I mean, you know, in the new game. But as you can see, these are pretty small. But the new side pods, the thing that where you can see the open black stuff in the middle, are 10 times smaller, or half the size of that, you could say. I'm not too sure about the Mercedes side pods. Pretty sure Mercedes side pods are pretty much the same. Also, the barge board area has changed a little bit, but nothing drastic in terms of that. And realistically, though, the big feature again is really the halo. As you can see, this cockpit is very much open. If a tyre, let's say, came off, for instance, the tyre could easily, let's say, even if the wheel tether failed or didn't fail, the tyre could backslap into the driver and hit the helmet of the driver, which could be quite fatal. Now, in 2018, they have something called the halo, which sort of covers the driver's head. It goes over the driver's head, and it keeps the driver safe. They have had to design a new way to get these drivers obviously now into the car. Now they virtually use a mini step ladder. You know, it's pretty hideous to see a driver using a step ladder to get into now the new machinery, but that is now the case. They use a step ladder to now get into their car, and basically the halo is quite big. It's a big object. In terms of how much view it obscures, personally, I don't think it's actually that much. Realistically, of what I've seen, okay, this actually probably isn't the best way to show it. But as you can see, in the middle of that actual, in the middle of that, you've got a small like antenna like type aerial thing. And in all fairness, okay, to the 2018 new Halo feature, that basically would be already, even last season, at the driver's eyesight. The driver would have been having that obscuring their vision in some sense, but obviously because it's a very small device, it wouldn't. And that's the same with the Halo. People didn't realise that, I don't think, that there was already something maybe not designed quite as big as the Halo, but you know, obviously there was already something obstructing the driver's field of view. Now, anyway, onto the back of the car. So basically, the rear wing has changed not much, nor has really the rear of the car that much, really. Maybe a bit more, one or two new features at the rear of the car, like in terms of downforce, but in terms of this thing here, where the number 6 is, as you can see, and where the camera is pointing, is called the shark wing, or the shark fin. This obviously now has been, you could say, trimmed, I would like to say. Basically, imagine cutting off that 6, basically. They've now just got like a smaller shark fin that doesn't look so much, not bad. I actually quite like the shark fin. I think it looks quite cool, but basically the shark fin's gone now once again, and basically it's just another step back to the 2010 cars, I would like to say, or the 2009 cars. And then at the back, this is the T-wing. You see that thing where you can see like it's like a round thing and it comes off the rear wing. It's quite tall, where the camera is pointing right now, as you can see. That has gone, not completely though. There is some small T-wings that we do see, but we don't see no longer the large T-wings like with this. We haven't seen one of these for quite some time now. And yeah, basically that's gone now, the T-wing, and that is now been scrapped. But the teams do still have small ones still left. Yeah, that's more or less it. The only other thing about the 2018 cars is obviously the size of the rear end. Now, the rear end in this is pretty thin, but in the 2018 game, it's just got a whole lot thinner. So, obviously, now with it getting a lot thinner, that should improve the aerodynamics. And yeah, these cars I do believe are a bit quicker than the 2017 cars. Obviously, the 2018 cars will be. But yeah, you know, obviously that rear, really the car's just gone on a bit of a diet, really. That's my way of looking at it. But yeah, anyway, we'll obviously now announce the team that we're driving for. So, obviously, with F1 2018 being a new game, you know, obviously that means we need a new challenge. And quite honestly, I have already decided. I decided about a month or two ago. I did actually put out an announcement. So in 2016, I actually drove for Haas F1. That was in 2016 in the F1 2016 game. I did enjoy my Haas career. In fact, in the first actual race, it was a very, very weird one, actually. I actually won the first race in the Haas. I qualified, I think it was about 8th. So a pretty decent qualifying. And my teammate Roman Grosjean qualified, I think 7th. So we were literally lined up right next to one another. I was surprised. But we were quite a long way off the leader's pace. Then during the race, we had a few safety cars, and before I knew it, okay, because I made the right call to stop under the safety cars, basically, I was already up into 4th. And then we had another safety car. I think Lewis Hamilton crashed out. And I overtook, I think it was Kimi on the restart. And there was only then one man in front of me, which was Rosberg. And basically, you know, obviously all I had to do was pass him. There was about 5 laps remaining. I thought we'd be lucky to get third. But the car just felt credible after the second restart. It just felt like it really wanted it. And it felt just sort of, it was a weird win that was. I wasn't expecting it myself. But yeah, you know, it was a very, very weird win. And yeah, I just was not expecting it in my first race on F1 2016, but there you go. So yeah, that is the car I used for F1 2016 and the start of F1 2016. And for the start of F1 2017, I used this car here, of course, the Renault. And I really enjoyed it, actually, using the Renault. In fact, I was considering using it again, but I decided not to. I decided there was only one car that could meet the job. And I definitely decided, I was tempted to go for Sauber. I'm not going to lie there. I've never had an interest in the McLaren since they went. I've never had interest in McLaren. I just don't think they're a good team, actually. I'm not going to lie. But yeah. But then, obviously, there was only one team that I thought, yeah, this must be the team I must drive for. In F1 2018, it will be Toro Rosso. And obviously, when you look at Toro Rosso in the real life, they're not that great, I thought. But at the end of the day, even though they're not great, they're not terrible either. So it will be a nice sort of challenge to see if I can maybe improve Toro Rosso to become better. And also, the thing about Toro Rosso, I thought, as my favourite driver is Sebastian Vettel, I thought this would be a nice way, you know, to start like the way Vettel did. He started in Toro Rosso. Then, if we have a really, really good season, we could negotiate a contract with, let's say, Red Bull. And that would be quite nice. And maybe bring Red Bull to 4-time world champions. Then maybe move off to Ferrari. Who knows what we could do, you know. And we'll see, you know. I think it'd be a very nice, you know. I know I've already, in a way, told you what my plans are for my career mode. But yeah, I just think, you know, I'm not dedicating this career mode to Vettel. I don't want anyone to think I'm trying to copy Vettel's footsteps in this new career mode that I'll be doing, obviously on F1 2018. But what I'm doing, I'm sort of thinking, because at the end of the day, when you look at the team overall, or the teams really available, I think actually, right, Sauber have got Ericsson and and Charles Leclerc. That's a very strong lineup. I just don't think myself that it'd be realistic that, you know, it'd be realistic to go there. I just don't think it would. McLaren have got, obviously, well, Williams have got Sergey and Stroll. I just don't like that car. You know, I'm not a big fan anyway of that car. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to criticise Williams. I love Williams to bits, but that car is not the greatest. Could my opinion change? If you guys drop any suggestions on what team I should race for, even though I've selected Toro Rosso, if you guys suggest any team and there is a clear suggestion to go for that team, then I would. But this is my career mode, remember, and therefore I'm going for Toro Rosso. But yeah, you know, I just didn't want to go for McLaren. I just don't like McLaren. I was considering going for Haas, but they've got Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen, a very, very good, strong lineup. Toro Rosso, it feels a bit, how can you put it? Like Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley. Brendan Hartley is a very good driver, but is he good enough for F1? And I just think, no, he ain't. And that's why I think he'd be a good replacement driver. But yeah, you know, obviously, you know, I could have selected other teams as well. In fact, Williams would be a very good fit in the team, in fact. So, yeah, you know, I'm going for Toro Rosso. I may change my mind and go for Williams, but at the moment, it's Toro Rosso. So, yeah, you know, that is the career mode I'll be doing, obviously. And I do want to work my way up. I've always been a big believer. I don't believe in starting at the top with Mercedes, Ferrari, or Red Bull. Like, how many drivers have come into Formula 1 and gone straight to the top? Except Lewis Hamilton. Hardly any, realistically. If you look at where Vettel started, look at where Valtteri started, look at where Kimi started, look at where Daniel started, Max started. They all started from teams that have not got race-winning capabilities. In fact, when I say all started, in fact, Vettel and Hamilton both started in a team with race-winning capabilities, because Vettel won at Toro Rosso somehow. I don't know how he won at Toro Rosso, but he just did it. And since then, it hasn't been repeated. But no, the point is, okay, Toro Rosso, okay, were not expected to win that Grand Prix 10 years ago. But like I said, okay, you know, these teams, Williams, Force India, Renault, Toro Rosso, Haas, McLaren, unfortunately McLaren, because McLaren used to be a race-winning team, Sauber, have not got the race-winning capabilities at the moment. The only three teams that have race-winning capabilities, and we see it in real life, are Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull. They are the three teams. So yeah, I'll be starting my career mode at Toro Rosso, 99.9% sure. But yeah, anyway, so that's the updates for you. I'll probably be starting my career mode on, I don't know when I'll be starting it, but probably a week or some point in the week after the release date. I doubt I'll be starting it on the Friday of the release date. Who knows though? But yeah, you know, we'll just see. Obviously, I will be running a career mode alongside my YouTube career mode. I'm not gonna lie there, but otherwise I'll be only doing, you know, one career mode in general. So thank you for watching. You now know what's going on. So look out for the modern car versus classic car in about a week's time, in 2 weeks Friday's time. And look out also for my career mode, which is coming very, very soon. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. See you in a few weeks. Bye for now. Hope you enjoy your holiday.